It's kind of funny that the devoted husband who's often seen walking by Princess Anne's side is frequently mistaken for her bodyguard. This mix-up happens for two main reasons. First, a lot of people don't actually know much about Princess Anne's second husband, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, whose life is even more private and mysterious than hers. Compared to her first husband, Mark Phillips, Timothy is often referred to as the Invisible Man. The question is, who exactly is Timothy Lawrence? In order to get to the bottom of this strange character, let's dig right in and find out the truth. Immediately following the dissolution of her first marriage, Princess Anne was fortunate enough to encounter someone who appeared to be a more suitable fit for her, Timothy Lawrence. However, the fact that he appeared beside Princess Anne caused a bit of controversy. Timothy, on the other hand, is frequently regarded as the complete antithesis of her first husband, Mark Phillips, who was regarded as something of a storybook hero. Timothy is known to be introverted, reticent, and nearly invisible in comparison to the more prominent members of the royal family. Despite the fact that Princess Anne defines Timothy as someone who prefers to remain in the background, this does not imply that he is weak or that he is not a good enough match for her. Even though his public demeanor may give the impression of being reserved, it actually demonstrates a quiet kind of strength that is a good match for Anne's nature. It is common for him to maintain an erect and solemn posture in public, avoiding calling attention to himself or displaying affection like other royal couples do. On the other hand, this low-key presence is one of the reasons why he is such a wonderful companion for Anne, particularly considering the fact that she was raised by a powerful person such as Prince Philip. On occasion, we are given little views inside their life together, which shed light on the reasons why their marriage has endured for such a long time. A recent photo of the couple at home lounging in their living room showed them relaxed and happy, surrounded by what was described as comfortable chaos. This simple private moment was a stark contrast to their usual public image and revealed a couple who enjoy finding peace and connection when the cameras are off. It is widely believed that one of the primary reasons why Princess Anne and Timothy's marriage is so successful is because Timothy is able to provide her with some normalcy and solitude away from the glare of the royal family. Unlike other members of the royal family, whose lives are frequently filled with public drama, Anne and Timothy have made a concerted effort to maintain the privacy of their personal lives. Not only does this protect them from the soap opera-like parts of royal life, but it also makes it easier for them to keep their relationship solid and grounded, which is built on mutual respect and camaraderie. In order to concentrate on their relationship without being constantly in the public eye, Anne and Timothy appear to have decided to take a road that is less public and more private. The decision that they made to keep things low-key and out of the public eye has actually garnered a lot of acclaim, and some people have even suggested that it could serve as a good example for other royals who are constantly under the microscope. It is somewhat peculiar how they came to be together in the first place. It was in the late 1980s when Sir Timothy Lawrence was appointed as an equerry to Queen Elizabeth II. This position not only put him in direct service to the Queen, but it also put him in the middle of the royal family, including Princess Anne, who was still married to Captain Mark Phillips at the time. This was a significant turning point in Sir Timothy Lawrence's career. During the time that Timothy was working as equerry, he built a close acquaintance with Anne, which eventually developed into a romantic relationship between the two of them. However, their private relationship quickly became the focus of public attention in a manner that was quite spectacular. In the month of April in the year 1989, private letters that Timothy had sent to Princess Anne were taken and delivered to a newspaper in the United Kingdom. An uproar in the media was sparked by these letters, which were reported as being intensely intimate and passionate. Even though the precise contents of the letters were never disclosed in their entirety, it was reported that they contained philosophical musings and romantic comments, which are the kinds of things that one might anticipate getting from young lovers. In spite of the fact that the letters were classified as private, their theft caused a significant scandal. It was necessary for Buckingham Palace to issue a formal statement in which they acknowledged the invasion of privacy and offered confirmation that the letters were authentic. A police investigation was initiated in order to identify the person responsible for the theft, and as part of the investigation, fingerprints were taken from more than 500 individuals who were connected to the royal household. Unfortunately, in spite of all the attempts that were made, the thief was never found. This episode brought to light the constant struggle that royals face in order to shield their private life from the prying eyes of the public. Following the issue with the stolen letters, their relationship was confronted with a number of tough trials. All of a sudden, their blossoming connection was brought to the forefront of public attention, and they were subjected to intense scrutiny and gossip. Regardless of the strain that was being applied to them, Anne and Timothy continued to be committed to each other and continued to navigate their lives with tenacity. Following the dissolution of her marriage to Captain Mark Phillips in 1992, Princess Anne and Timothy were finally able to discuss their relationship openly. Through the experiences they had in common and the support they received from one another, their connection grew deeper, which ultimately led to their marriage later that year. However, here's the nail in the coffin. They were not permitted to get married in England. As a result of Anne's previous marriage to Mark Phillips, the Church of England had stringent regulations on remarriage after divorce. As a result, Anne and Timothy were unable to get married in an Anglican ceremony in England. During that time period, the Church of England held a fairly conventional perspective on divorce, which meant that remarriage was prohibited for as long as the person who had previously been married was still alive. In order to circumvent this obstacle, Anne and Timothy made the decision to get married in a church in Scotland known as Sy Kirk. It was the ideal answer because the Church of Scotland did not impose the same limits on remarriage as other jurisdictions did. In addition, Sy Kirk held a special place in the hearts of the royal family because of its proximity to Balmoral Castle, which was frequently visited by Queen Elizabeth II. Considering the great ties that the royal family has to Scotland, which Anne herself has always cherished for its beauty and culture, this place held a significant significance for both Anne and Timothy. Following their wedding ceremony at Sy Kirk, the pair embarked on their honeymoon at Royal Deeside, which is located in the county of Aberdeenshire. Even though Timothy did not come from nearly the same background as Mark Phillips, Anne has always spoken favorably of Scotland, complimenting the country's natural beauty and the kindness of its inhabitants. This showed her personal attachment to the region, even though Mark Phillips did not come from the same background. The sincerity of Princess Anne's grin and the manner in which she maintains eye contact with Sir Timothy are both excellent indicators of the extent of their bond. Nicole Moore, an expert in body language, observed that while they walked together, their gazes were riveted on each other. This highlighted the mutual adoration that they have for one another, as well as the degree to which they prioritize one another. This straightforward action not only demonstrated the enduring love that they shared, but it also provided a hint about the intensity of their emotional connection and partnership. Moore also observed that Sir Timothy appeared to be amused, which was consistent with Princess Anne's well-known sense of humor about the situation. While conducting an interview for the book Anne the Princess Royal at 70, Sir Timothy remarked that it is a characteristic that she possesses in common with her mother, Queen Elizabeth II. It is clear from his appreciation of their mutual sense of humor that laughter plays a significant role in their relationship. The fact that they take pleasure in each other's company is a significant factor in maintaining the strength of their connection. The snapshot captures a unique moment in which they spoke with one another on a more profound level, discovering a sense of intimacy among themselves via their mutual admiration and comprehension of one another. Not only is this a relationship that is founded on affection, but it is also one that is founded on profound respect for each other's intelligence and personalities. This has allowed them to remain extremely close and emotionally linked over the course of their relationship. Aside from the public appearances, Princess Anne and Sir Timothy have constructed a life together that strikes a balance between their royal responsibilities and their personal pursuits. Throughout the many difficulties, victories, and complexity that come with living a royal life, they have been there for one another and supported each other, all while keeping a consistent partnership. The fact that they are able to take pleasure in each other's company, whether it be in private moments or at public occasions, is indicative of a relationship that is founded on mutual understanding and values that are universally held. The laughter of Princess Anne and the attentive look of Sir Timothy at events such as the Easter service demonstrate a love that continues to develop and progress, which is a reflection of their everlasting partnership. There is also a more profound intellectual connection between them, one that is equally as significant as any physical affection that they may or may not exhibit toward one another. Nicole Moore, an expert on body language and a celebrity love advisor, asserts that the relationship between Princess Anne and Sir Timothy is founded on intellectual companionship and mutual respect for one another. It was explained by Moore that the couple's intellectual engagement appears to be the most significant connection between them, which distinguishes their relationship from others. The couple was photographed sitting close to one another and thoroughly engaged in conversation during the 2016 Rio Olympics, which was a very apparent indication of the cerebral intimacy that existed between them. This particular event stood out due to the fact that public demonstrations of closeness between them are extremely uncommon. It was pointed out by Moore that Sir Timothy's body language during their conversation, which included his slight lean towards Princess Anne and his focused stare, demonstrated a profound respect for her and a genuine interest in her perspective. By adopting this posture, Sir Timothy demonstrated that he places a high importance for Princess Anne's viewpoints, despite the fact that he does not always agree with them. In point of fact, Moore hinted that there might have been a disagreement during their talk, but Sir Timothy's continuing participation, which included leaning in to listen, demonstrated that he respected her point of view. Rather than relying on physical affection, this indicates that their relationship survives on mutual intellectual respect, where they cherish one another's ideas rather than showing appreciation for one another physically. In spite of the fact that Princess Anne has occasionally violated royal protocol throughout her life, one regulation that she has always adhered to is the prohibition of public displays of affection, PDA. From the perspective of the general public, this adherence can often give the impression that her relationship with Sir Timothy is distant or even tense. When it comes to their connection behind closed doors, however, experts like Moore suggest that this apparent constraint does not accurately reflect the genuine warmth and comfort that exists between them. In spite of the fact that a significant portion of Princess Anne's private life is kept hidden from public view, the manner in which she carries herself in public provides crucial insights into her relationship with Sir Timothy. Moore noted that despite the fact that they do not engage in physical contact with one another, the pair has a peaceful comfort with one another, and their interactions reflect a profound mutual regard and affection for one another. The fact that they share a connection that is both subtle and powerful serves as a reminder that the foundation of their relationship is not huge gestures, but rather understanding and companionship together. While attending the Platinum Pageant in 2022, Princess Anne and Sir Timothy were captured in a photograph that perfectly portrays their laid-back and easygoing relationship. The subtle but telling changes in their body language reflect the extent to which they take pleasure in being in each other's company. Moore notes that Princess Anne's posture is noticeably relaxed for such a prominent event. She leans back in her chair with somewhat bowed shoulders, and her left shoulder is inclined toward Sir Timothy. Moore's observation is noteworthy. A desire to get near to him is suggested by this modest movement at this moment. Despite the fact that the photograph does not depict any overt physical intimacy between the two of them, it conveys a deep sense of familiarity and ease with one another. Without the need for dramatic gestures to demonstrate their connection, their body language perfectly portrays the essence of a relationship in which both parties are entirely at peace with one another. Even in the formal and public setting of a royal engagement, they are able to be themselves because of the amount of ease they have within themselves. Let's delve a little more into Sir Timothy Lawrence's history now in order to better understand him. In contrast to Princess Anne's portrayal of him as the invisible man, Timothy's life story is anything but straightforward. Captain Guy Stewart Lawrence, a Navy officer, and Barbara Allison Lawrence, a civilian, were his parents when he was born. Beginning at a young age, Timothy showed an interest in joining the Navy, following in the footsteps of his father. In order to pursue this interest, he was awarded a scholarship from the American Navy to attend Durham University to study geography. In 1973, shortly after completing his education, he enlisted in the Royal Navy, which officially marked the beginning of his illustrious military career. Timothy had already demonstrated early promise and competence in his naval tasks, and by 1977, just 4 years after joining the Navy, he had already advanced to the rank of lieutenant. The Royal Yacht Britannia, which was frequently utilized by the royal family for official ceremonies and vacations, was the vessel on which he worked as a navigating officer between the years 1980 and 1982. This is the time period in which it is claimed that he first came into contact with Princess Anne, which ultimately resulted in the beginning of their romantic relationship. Timothy's naval career continued to progress exceptionally well, and he steadily rose through the ranks. It was a noteworthy success that indicated his leadership talents and the respect he acquired inside the Royal Navy that he was able to achieve the rank of captain by the year 1995. For the duration of his naval career, Timothy Lawrence served as the captain of a number of significant vessels, including the HMS Cumberland and the HMS Boxer. Because of these jobs, he was able to acquire experience that was of great value and acquired the respect of his contemporaries. As the 1990s progressed, he made the shift from active naval responsibilities to posts within the government, eventually joining the Ministry of Defense. In this capacity, he offered his knowledge in defense topics, providing advice on various methods and government programs. The strategic insights he possessed and the attention he showed to his work led to additional improvements in his career. Timothy received a promotion to the rank of Rear Admiral and was appointed to the position of Assistant Chief of the Defense Staff on July 5, 2004, which is a significant position within the Ministry of Defense. He was able to demonstrate his influence and dedication to the protection of the nation by virtue of the fact that he was responsible for monitoring essential parts of defense strategy and operations. 2007 was the year that he was promoted to the rank of Vice Admiral in appreciation of the great service he had provided. In the course of his illustrious naval career, which extended nearly 4 decades, this event served as a key milestone. Timothy took his retirement from the Royal Navy in August of 2010, yet he continued to serve the public after he left the ministry. He has changed his concentration to humanitarian work since he retired, and he is continuing to make significant contributions to society in a variety of different ways. Within the context of his unique position within the royal family, Sir Timothy Lawrence has been a consistent presence, providing assistance to Princess Anne in the performance of her royal responsibilities. The year 2011 marked the year that Queen Elizabeth II bestowed upon him the honor of Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order, KCVO, in recognition of his steadfastness and service. In spite of the fact that he does not possess a formal royal title, this distinction is representative of the significant contributions he has made to the royal family, as well as his unflinching support of Princess Anne. Despite the fact that he does not hold the traditional royal title, his position within the family is characterized by unwavering commitment and unwavering duty. He is continuously present by Princess Anne's side at all of her numerous official engagements. Princess Anne has always been supported by Sir Timothy Lawrence, who has been a solid foundation of support for her. His attendance at events, ceremonies, and formal engagements has served to emphasize their shared commitment to public service. Timothy's presence and dedication have been appreciated by the royal family, particularly by Queen Elizabeth II, who has acknowledged his role as her supportive companion. His relationship with her has not gone ignored. A particularly noteworthy moment of recognition occurred during the festivities of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Trooping the color is a custom that has previously been reserved for only members of the royal family who are currently employed. Sir Timothy, on the other hand, was allowed special permission to join the family on the famous balcony of Buckingham Palace. This was done to underscore the significant role he played in supporting Princess Anne and his position within the royal family. Particularly after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, the supportive role that Sir Timothy played became even more important. In the process of honoring her mother's legacy, Princess Anne, who had always been a loving daughter, took on a responsibility that was both profound and emotional. She was a significant contributor to the process of ensuring that Queen Elizabeth's last journey was carried out with the utmost respect and dignity. Princess Anne fulfilled her royal responsibilities with poise and determination by accompanying the coffin of her mother from Balmoral to Windsor Castle. This responsibility was not only a personal obligation for her, but it was also a time that held a profound significance for her. While she was going through this difficult period, Sir Timothy was there for her, providing unshakable support and standing by her side as she dealt with the loss of her mother. The fact that he was there to provide Princess Anne with the solace and fortitude she required is illustrative of how important his role has been in their alliance, particularly during such a difficult time for the royal family. Princess Anne's portrayal of her husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence, as the Invisible Man, is illustrative of the singular and unassuming function that he plays within the royal family. Not as publicly apparent or in the spotlight as some other royals, Sir Timothy plays an important and supporting role in Anne's life. He provides her with emotional support and companionship behind the scenes, despite the fact that he is not as visible to the public. His invisibility can be interpreted as a manifestation of his profound respect for privacy and his concentration on quietly assisting Princess Anne rather than seeking attention for himself. Sir Timothy's presence is consistent and meaningful, particularly in significant moments, as was demonstrated during the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. His consistent support throughout the difficult time following the Queen's passing exemplifies his integral role in Princess Anne's life. Despite the fact that he has a relatively low public profile, Sir Timothy's presence is consistent and meaningful. It is not necessary for him to be in the spotlight in order to be cherished. His presence is felt most strongly when it is most required. He provides the kind of calm strength that enables Princess Anne to carry out her royal duties without being distracted. This interaction can also be interpreted as a reflection of the mutual respect that they have for one another, with Sir Timothy placing a high value on Princess Anne's autonomy and the position that she plays within the royal family. It is possible that individuals who are more focused on the other, more prominent members of the royal family view him as invisible, since he is not competing for the same level of public recognition as the other members of the royal family. Nevertheless, his efforts, both private and public, are of incalculable value, and the fact that he has consistently shown his support for Princess Anne attests to the fact that their relationship is founded on mutual trust and comprehension. It is in this sense that the intensity and depth of their connection is demonstrated by the fact that Princess Anne is affectionate toward him and relies on him, despite the fact that he is not particularly noticeable.